What is reality? A while back on social media, a wide range of people, including myself, learned that there was people among us that have no inner dialogue, no voice inside their own head, and it left those of us that do have this stunned and mystified. Outside of not understanding how one could not have this, there is another thing that some of us that do consider. That which is the concept of the non-player character. Are these people NPCs? And with that comes the notion that a lot of us feel that this reality that we think is solid and unshakable is nothing more than some video game or computer-generated simulation. And if that is so, what does that mean, and what can we do while inside the program? The other day I was with friends and I looked up at a TV that was nearby us and saw an ad for some fruit juice or a product focused on fruit, and I saw a yellow watermelon. I stopped short and, mouth agape, said to my friend, "What in the living heck is that?" She told me that it's a yellow watermelon, and I was blown away by it. I'd never seen or heard of this before. I immediately reflected on how me and some of the other friends have felt reality shifting recently with seemingly more frequency. This, of course, falls into the Mandela effect category. However, this was just me. Others all said they knew about it when I asked them. I was told I lived a sheltered life, but I've been to all sorts of places and international and fancy places and shops and restaurants. I have never seen it in an ad. I've never seen it nor heard about it before, and I absolutely love watermelon. It would have been something that should have come up in my world before, and it would have been something I noticed rather than just not pay attention to it. Shifting realities, or is this a change in the matrix? At the very least for myself. It's easy to say it's just something I've never noticed, and all of these observations and glitches and timeline shifts can all be explained away by convenient perception issues. But that in itself is a clue to the reality possibly not being what it seems. If the world is as solid and real and concrete as we believe it to be, how and why is there even perception issues? Why do we humans have concepts that arise that we can override the supposed reality and conceive or perceive of something that either isn't true or is completely imagined? Imaginations could be suggested to be an evolutionary advantage, but what is advantageous about misperception? Misperceptions often cause friction, destruction, danger, and miscommunication and dysfunction. It can also be used to persuade, control, and dominate. Now, there are clues everywhere all through our lives and through history left by the designer, whomever that may be, that this reality is but a construct for some purpose. A purpose that always seems to come down to the idea of perception, about being something more to our reality outside of our senses, outside of what we can see and taste and experience, with the allure of the physical world having both intense pleasure and pain, both which can manipulate a mind into actions and behaviors and attachments to the program of the matrix. Now, there's clues in the religions of the ancient texts. For instance, in the Bible,
2 Corinthians 4 verse 18, "While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal."
This verse could suggest that there's a hidden or filtered reality that conceals the true nature of things, as in simulation theory. However, the common interpretation of this is that the context of this verse is about the contrast between the present suffering and future glory of the believers, not about the nature of physical reality. The things which are not seen are spiritual realities that transcend the simulation, such as God, heaven, and the resurrection. But in religion, the occult, and all mystical knowledge, the knowledge given is always in between the lines. Clues left for those that want to find it, like the hidden code in the matrix.
"So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it."
If we were to look at hidden meaning here, like a breadcrumb left by whatever you want to believe, the creator of the simulation, God, or the one in control of your physical avatar, this can be read as a hint that you, in this simulation, have the power to decree a thing and it will come to pass. Of course, we can decree with our words, and often the opposite will appear in front of us, leaving us to scoff at the notion. For in the common interpretation, God would decree something, and yet we all live in this reality, and nothing is ever decreed except that by man. And what would it be the point of listening and waiting for decrees that never occur? Unless it was a clue that it is you who has to learn how to decree, how to adjust this matrix to suit you. And you can do so with your awareness. But without your awareness, you are left to a world of chaos and disorder.
The natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned.
The hint and clue, of course, is that the path to change the matrix and your events inside this lay in the inside, the imagination and mind of you, rather than trying to control and influence the outer world. The concept, of course, is and has been concealed from you for a greater part of history. Again, for you to give up your control to a God that only the clergy and church can tell you is his decree. And in a secular way, this is played out with system, social order, and science.
Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you have received them, and ye shall have them.
If this is a simulation, is there a hidden code that which we desire and wish for comes true? If you believe you have already received them? Well, our society goes out of its way to certainly suggest the opposite, going so far as to think of this line of thinking as a bridge to insanity. Even religious teachings will say it's true, but only if you were to ask God. But what is God? Omnipresent and everywhere, in total control of the universe. In some sense, you could interpret God as the code, or the creator of the simulation, or you could interpret yourself as God, that the world in simulation is your simulation, interconnected with others, shifting and twisting around all our minds and desires. Consciousness itself is the biggest clue to the simulation being real. What a lot of our life and world encompasses is that to which we give meaning to it. A distant planet with life on it, full of only small bacteria, holds no creative powers and minimal influence on the events of the universe or simulation. So then one must begin to ask, if this is true, and this is a simulation, and we have power to shape it as we see, within the constraints of the program, though we could suggest that we could alter the code and constraints too, then why is this hidden from us? Why are we programmed to believe the opposite? Why are we not all actively working towards our own perfect desired lives with the right mindset to achieve them? Why do we let distractions and disbelief and pain and fear take us over and do the opposite or block ourselves, which would, in Scripture, be sin or the devil? Some spiritual theories include the idea that we are all God or part of God, a being that split himself into tiny pieces in order to learn what it's like to be mortal, find himself again and return to the source. This concept with a minor tweak sounds like a game creator who does something similar in order to experience the building up of their character, in order to beat the game. And like many games, the player may go through multiple avatars, choose different characters and arcs to explore this transition and growth. Thus the hidden nature of it, both from a God dividing himself up and from a simulation theory concept. The idea is to find the truth and level up, take control, and become the creator of your universe and world. Now, at some point in our lives, we must stand firm in our place and ask the questions of what might be possible. What may our minds be truly capable of, and what limitations are holding us back, blocking us from really exploring our power? And we must take the leap of faith and jump into the abyss of the unknown and risk our mental well-being in order to believe. Okay, now it's time for you to tell me what you think. Do you think if this is a simulation, you can actually control things by controlling your own mind? Or is this some level of cope? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out a small channel like this one, and I will talk to you next time.